Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs another hard reset. Now, I know this is a very controversial topic, especially to those playing the most meta decks, like Sky Striker, Thunder Dragon, Altergeist, which includes me, etc. But I think for 2019, Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs to come into a new age of the game. Now, what do you think of when you hear meta decks? At least for January. You think Sky Striker, Thunder Dragon, Altergeist, Dark Warrior. Now, what do you think of the meta decks of December? Sky Striker, Thunder Dragon, Altergeist, Dark Warrior. What about November? Sky Striker, Thunder Dragon, Altergeist, fucking Dark Warrior. It's been this way for several months, probably over half a year now, especially after Altergeist got Multi-Faker from from Flames of Destruction. And basically, and since Thunder Dragons came out in Soul Fusion, basically the meta decks have stayed the same, especially Sky Striker. Now, the OCGs tried fixing Sky Striker, but it's still the second best deck, even with their hits. And today I want to talk about what can be done to give Yu-Gi-Oh! Another hard reset. Now, if you don't know what a hard reset is in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh! Standards, it's basically hitting all of the top decks just so new decks can come in and try to set themselves in stone. In my opinion, that format, like the entirety of that format, was basically like after a hard reset to the game. I might be wrong, but I believe Teledad was the meta deck, and Dragon Rulers and Spellbooks. Pretty sure Teledad came before those, though. I don't know. I know just gotten out of Dragon Rulers and Spellbooks. So as soon as those decks got banned, like really hard, especially Spellbooks. Making Dragon Rulers show up even more, and there'd be no deck to really stop Dragon Rulers. I keep almost saying Thunder Dragons because I'm so used to that being the big dragon deck now, even though they're Thunders. Basically, after all of those hits, the game slowed down to a more mellow pace, and a deck like Trap Tricks, or I should say Hands, Artifact, and Trap Tricks, was able to be the quote-unquote top deck of the format, while every single other deck, really, you can name almost any deck that was around at the time, was topping regionals and all that stuff. There was Boojins, there was Sylvans, there was literally everything topping in that format. And that was because the game had just come out of a hard reset, and everything was mellowed. And then, let's see. Basically, as soon as Duelist Alliance came out, that started the Duelist Alliance format, and that was when the hard reset finally ended. Shadalls, Satellar Knights, Burning Abyss, all of those became the best options for decks to play. And basically, the hard reset is the game just slowing down for a bit before new top decks come into play. Now, I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is in need of another hard reset, and here's how you can do it. Let's start with the main offender. Sky Striker is the top deck, highest representation anywhere. At YCS Sydney not too long ago, there was about 97 Sky Striker players, correct me if I'm wrong. And that was out of like 800-something people. So, basically, almost 1/8 of the representation of the entire event was Sky Striker, which is pretty nuts, but it's because it's the best deck. Now, Sky Striker's taken hits in the OCG several times, and it still hasn't been enough to slow the deck down in any way, shape, or form. And the reason is because they're not hitting the right stuff. So, how to hard reset Sky Strikers? Limit Sky Striker Mobilize Engage, one of the most broken searching spells, if not the most broken searching spell in the entire game. Lets you search any card in the entire archetype, even Ray, and it's not a once per turn, and it's an upstart goblin with no life point gain for the opponent if you have enough spells in the grave, which, since you're playing Sky Strikers, you're gonna have. Limiting this card would not only drop the consistency a bit, but it would also prevent them from having access to this stuff every single time. Another hard hit would be to limit Ray. Now, this is probably the most important one, as Ray is their most important card, and their only ways to search it are with Rhoda and Engage. So limiting Engage and Ray would leave you with only one Engage and one Rhoda to search. And then I guess you can say the field spell also searches her, but no one really cares. The field spell's not that bad, but not that good either. And so limiting Ray would really dampen the potential of the deck. And then probably the biggest one is limiting or semi-limiting Widow Anchor, because Widow Anchor is probably the most hated card in the entire deck. And really, that enough is probably enough to hit the deck really hard, but just in case, let's throw in the limiting of Kagari and maybe the semi-limit of Shizuku, and there you got yourself basically Sky Strikers gone. Now, that deck's pretty complicated to completely get rid of, but the next one's pretty simple. So the next one, Thunder Dragons. This had the highest amount of tops in the top 16 and the top 32 of the entire event of Sydney. And Thunder Dragons are actually really easy to get rid of. In the OCG, they limited Goldsark, I believe, and the deck was entirely gone, like out of existence. It never, basically as if it never existed at all. And that's really all we need to do here in the TCG too. But I'd say the real, because like they're really bricky, basically, and without Goldsark, it's hard for them to get their extenders out with Dragon Dark. So limiting Goldsark and then maybe limiting Colossus, and you've got Thunder Dragon out entirely, but still maybe a decent rogue option, if not like something casual to play. The price of Colossus and all the other cards would drop immensely, and if they ever try bringing the deck back, well, everyone has their hands on the stuff that they need, so it's a bit easier, even though Konami's money hungry, so they probably would never do that. And so Thunder Dragons, really easy to get rid of. Next is Dark Warrior. Simple. Ban Rongo, ban Gumblar, limit Mali. Done. That's really all that needs to be done. Oh, yeah. Those are the basic ones. But what really would be the final nail in the coffin for this deck is banning Summon Sorceress. I cannot tell you how much I hate going against Dark Warrior, mainly because I know for a fact they're going to get out a Gumblar as long as they summon the Summon Sorceress. Because basically they get that out, it's over. I mean, yeah, I've played Summon Sorceress in, let's see, Altergeist because I had extra deck space, and I was like, why not? Also, it'd be nice if I had cherries, then I could use Summon Sorceress with that. And then I also played it in Zombies, because you kind of have to play it in Zombies for extra consistency, at least specialty Vampires, because, you know, Vampires are a bunch of level 5 or higher mostly, other than the level 1 and 2. But, really, what you gotta do to get rid of Dark Warrior is ban Gumblar, ban Rongo, or the Shadow thing, Gossip Shadow. Yeah, Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, that's what it's called. You get rid of that, or Rongo, and then you get rid of Gumblar, and Summon Sorceress, and maybe Mali, because Mali is pretty good in other decks too, Burning Abyss. But basically the deck's gone, and that's the perfect way to hard reset it. Now finally, the main meta deck I want to talk about is Altergeist. Now I myself am a proud Altergeist player. I enjoy the deck a lot. It's the only control deck I've ever played that had the most special summoning consistency. But now that Trap Trick Sarah's coming out, might have to dust off my old trap lollies and get back to playing them. I was playing them on Percy not too long ago, and they didn't do terrible. They're just like still too weak because they're really low attack values. I'll probably make a rant on Trap Trick Sarah some other time. But basically, Multi-Faker is such a good card, and that's what needs to be hit to make the deck lower. Now, Limiting multi-faker, like in the OCG, is probably the best way to get rid of Altergeist. I don't think banning it's very necessary, but limiting multi-faker and Maluseek, especially because Maluseek's good for going into time, and it searches your multi-faker. But if you limit both of them, then basically the deck that can't do too much. Because, I mean, like, hitting the Silquidus won't do too much either, because, you know, really the only way people are summoning it is with multi-faker, or if they need to, like, normal summon it for extra damage, I guess, but why would you do that? And you can just special it with multi-faker. But multi-faker down to 1, Maluseek down to 1, and then maybe spoofing down to 2, and the deck becomes a lot less consistent and probably way too slow, because multi-faker was the entire reason the deck became, like, good, like, even remotely, because it just gave so much consistency to the special summoning aspect, which basically every control deck would die to have, but of course they give it to Altergeist because, you know, it's an anime deck and it's new, and yeah, I wish Sarah was as good as multi-faker. Just like if you actually, Sarah's kind of like multi-faker, honestly. If you activate a trap card, special summon something. If a normal trap card is activated, special summon a Trap Tricks. And then multi-faker, it special summons an Altergeist from the deck, which Sarah does with Trap Tricks, but also gets to set another trap. Basically, Sarah and multi-faker are pretty similar, but like I said, I'm not going to talk about Sarah too much in here. I just really love Sarah. Okay, sorry. I have an OCG Sarah in my Trap Tricks deck as practice. Now, basically, that about does it for the meta decks that need to get hit. Now, a couple of the rogue options might need to get hit for reasons like they probably end up taking over the format, and most of the decks that are rogue have already had their own formats. I'm talking about stuff like Burning Abyss. I really don't like Burning Abyss. I wanted to build it at one point because I was like, wow, that's pretty cool, and I have a tour guide, and I've had it for a while, actually. It's not in the best condition, but still. And basically, I was like, okay, I'll build this, but then I never really got around to it because I didn't want to have to spend money on, like, a Beatrice, and also I thought you had to play, like, the fusion spell and all that. Yeah, because who actually summons Purple Dante with fucking fusion spell? But basically, BA, what needs to be done, in my opinion, is limit Dante, and then you can probably put Beatrice to 2 after that, but please limit Dante and ban fucking Snow. I hate Fairy Tail Snow, and so does everyone else who goes against any deck that plays it. Like, I would probably have a better chance, and so would everyone else, against BA if Fairy Tail Snow was fucking gone. That card is just so toxic and so annoying that they can just use it multiple times in one turn. Because they can just be like, activate Snow, Call by the Grave, chain Snow. It's like, why? That's so dumb. I mean, yeah, it'd be cool if Construct came back and then fucking Snow was there. You can shit off Fusion, send Snow from deck, but I don't even want to do that because I don't want to be like that asshole that's just like, shit off Fusion, send Snow from deck. Oh, it's your turn. That's a nice big boss monster you got there. Flip face down with Snow. No, I don't want to do that, and I don't think anyone else wants to do that unless they're just like, summon Snow. My friend, he plays Snow because he plays BA, and he even says Snow is actually retarded. It's such a really annoying card, and he plays Snow in the deck, so it's like, God. Even the players that are using... It's like with Firewall. The players that are using it even acknowledge that, hey, this card is really toxic, but I'm still going to play it anyway because it helps me win. And basically, please just limit Dante ban Snow. The deck is pretty bad without that. Without those two. 2 and even 3. And let's see. Other decks that would probably need to be hit. Really everything is fine. I mean, Pendulum Magicians only get, like, 1 top every time anyway. But I think the final way to kill it would be, like, I don't know, limit Dark Worm or Wisdom Eye or even Harmonizing, and then the deck's just gonna be like, well, see you all in hell. Like, just in case you want to, like, make sure it stays dead, Konami, that's what you got to do. But basically, yeah, I don't think there's much that needs to be done for Pendulum Magician. Trickstar. Trickstar is still a pretty good rogue deck, and I think one of the ways we can kill that off is you hit the light stage, you hit the reincarnation, and you hit the Candina, specifically the first and the third. Basically, the deck just kind of just goes. And then, if you hit the light stage, you can bring Terraforming back to 3, which is awesome, because I can play Terraforming at 3 in some of my decks. Like, Prank Kids, or Dinos, or really anything that has a field spell that's really good. And considering that this list that I made up would also be hitting Striker, wouldn't be that useful in there as well, because the field spell wouldn't be worth it to search, because the deck would suck. And then now that's really about it. Tell me what decks you think I missed in the comments, and also what cards that you think I missed that would probably make decks a lot worse. Or if you disagree with the fact that Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs a hard reset, tell me as well, because I would love to hear you guys' opinions. It's always nice arguing with you at 2 o'clock in the morning about a video link and shit like that. Over a stupid card that's actually really bad, and also the video that was made was not that great either. But really, just tell me what you thought in the comments. I love playing Yu-Gi-Oh! It's such a fun game. I always look forward to each Friday of each week to go to locals and play. But I honestly think that some of the decks that are being used now have been they've been around for a bit too long. And so I believe that the game needs to just be reset. Be like that fucking Undertale shit. Click that reset button like 10 times. And then some of the smaller decks can rise up, Fluffle, and hopefully try to gain dominance. Because there's some decks out there that are really good, really consistent. They just don't have enough power to deal with the decks that are meta at the moment. It's basically like throwing a fucking Trickstar Lilybell at a Chaos Max Dragon. That's how bad the meta is now. Is that, like, there's always those things you can't get over, everything. But thank you all so much for watching this little rant of mine. I really hope the other members of the team start uploading videos to the channel. Otherwise, I'd probably just make this a channel for myself, honestly. And, yeah. That does it for this video. See ya in the next one.